mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go, gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, oh, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, when you do the fun, done go. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Gubby Leo, Gubby Leo, Gubby Leo, Gubby Leo, Gubby Leo, Magnifico. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from his monstrosity.
Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Build a wall, no, we will not let you go. Build a wall, we will not let you go. Build a wall, we will not let you go. Let me go, will not let you go. Let me go, will not let you go. Let me go. No. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Be as gentle as the devil would decide for me, for me, for me. So you think you can stone me and sing my life? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get right out here.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, I. of the 199. I can't even talk today. And yes, Benjamin, you are the reason that I played that intro, because I was sitting there, I'm like, which intro am I going to run? And then you said I could go for some Putin playing the piano intro. So I was like, all right, fine. We'll just play that one. And then you said, I forgot the actual name of the song, but thank you for playing it. Take my money. Well, that is Bohemian Rhapsody, one of the greatest songs ever made by Queen. I would argue it might be the greatest song ever made. I mean, it's not my favorite. It's one of my favorites for sure, but like from an iconic standpoint and how it's transcended time, it's definitely one of the greatest songs ever made. AJ says, I bet Trump plays Mario Kart. I'm going to highly doubt that. For sure. Mad Max says, RIP Theo. He was one of my favorite characters on The Cosby Show. Yes, Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away at the age of 54. 54 years old. and just awful news. So that was very, very shocking to hear. Piano Dean says, if we can arrest a former president, then we can arrest a former president. That's the logic that I'm talking about right there. That's the logic I'm talking about. Little Jim's Halo says Hunter went out on the town with white snow. Yeah, there's a lot of Hunter Biden stuff to talk about. There's a lot to cover today, actually. Hunter Biden did a 3-hour interview. And I have not sat through this interview, but there's a lot of clips from the interview that we're going to go over because this dude is completely unhinged. I'm going to try to compile all of the clips from this interview. But yeah, he's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. In fact, let's just take a look at this right here. So let's listen to Hunter Biden. He just loses his mind right here. Listen.
Opinions. But fuck him. Fuck him and everybody around him. I don't have to be fucking nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. Fucking George Clooney is not a fucking actor. He is a fucking, I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well.
That's as loud as I can get it. The audio is not great for some reason.
You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. Fuck you. What do you have to do with fucking anything? Why do I have to fucking listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his fucking life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the fucking New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 fucking years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of fucking David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior fucking speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40, $50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history, and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his.
Not to mention,
who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper,
my mom or something. I don't know.
well, I don't know.
Yeah.
For real though, I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No.
By the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news, and beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with.
Hunter Biden is on it. He also went off on illegal immigrants. That's right. Here we go.
And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals. White men in America are 45 more times likely to commit a fucking violent crime than an immigrant. And the media says, well, you got David Axelrod and, Rahm fucking Emanuel. So fucking smart, Rahm Emanuel. And so we got to understand that these people are really mad. And we got to appeal to these white voters. Rahm, the only people that fucking appealed to those fucking white voters was Joe Biden, 81 years old. And he got 81 million votes. And he did not because he appeased their fucking Trumpian sense, but because he challenged it. And he said, you can be an 81-year-old Catholic from fucking Scranton that doesn't understand it, but still has empathy for transgender people and immigrants. And nobody said, oh, Joe Biden's going to turn us into a socialist state, no matter how much they said it. But these guys think that we need to run away from all values in order for us to lead. I say, fuck you. How are we getting those people back from fucking El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now,
Hunter Biden is going to run for president? Dude, for all those people, because there's a lot of people saying Jeremy won't turn on Trump because his grift is up as soon as Trump is gone. Bro, politics is about to get crazy. Hunter Biden's going to run for president? My grifting days will never end.
I would pick up the phone and call the fucking president of El Salvador and say, you either fucking send them back or I'm going to fucking invade. It's a fucking crime
what they're doing. He's a fucking dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
Oh my gosh, man. Now here's a clip of Hunter Biden explains how easy it is to make crack and then tries to prevent himself from getting too excited about remembering how awesome it was.
No. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, because they think cocaine, Scarface, very cool.
Yeah.
Crack cocaine, they think The Wire.
oh, in that sense, oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they don't know how
absolutely. Yeah.
similar the chemical compounds are.
Well, the only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat. Literally,
That's it?
That's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store.
He's tweaking her right now, dude. This is amazing. I for one, okay, I am hoping that Hunter Biden runs for president in 2028. Please let this happen.
And just get anyway. I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar of cocaine and baking soda.
How different is the experience?
It's vastly different. And like for real, I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do that, but have some euphoric discussion about crack cocaine.
I think this might be kind of the opposite here.
Okay, no, it's the exact opposite. I'm saying I don't want to have the experience of some euphoric recall. That's how powerful crack cocaine is. Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all. You know, all of these actors and, you know, people in the past that talked about they had a problem with cocaine and freebasing. They were smoking crack.
So straw on the stove is the same thing.
Not exactly, but close to it. But it's a little bit different. But anyway, no.
If I didn't know, like, so I did pull the entire like interview up, but like if I didn't know that this was, I would think this was AI or something, or if this was edited together. But here's the actual video right here. So I mean, this is like crazy, dude. So like I would think like this has got to be AI, or this has to be a meme edit or something. So I guess it's real. I can't believe it. But yeah, Hunter Biden cracked out, man. So I guess we'll 3 hours of AI. Yeah, 3 hours of AI. Let's see. What is this? What is this? Hang on. I haven't seen this clip. Hunter Biden says the mysterious white powder they found at the White House. Well, hang on. Here we go.
They're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the West Wing of the White House.
I think it was Don Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about old White House.
Yeah, when my dad was there.
Oh, so they just got to blame you automatically.
Yeah, I mean they're literally.
I thought he was gonna say what it was mine. It was mine. That's what it sounded like.
Old White House.
Yeah, when my dad was there.
Oh, so they just got to blame you automatically.
Yeah, I mean they're literally going to do an FBI, another congressional investigation, because they've convinced themselves that it had to be me, that there was a little tiny. And there's my point of even bringing it up is that no. I have been clean and sober since June of 2019, and I have not touched a drop of alcohol or a drug, and I'm incredibly proud of that.
And why would you bring cocaine to the White House?
Why would I bring cocaine to the White House, stick it into a cubby outside the Situation Room in the West Wing when I wasn't there? Anyway, who the fuck knows?
And politicians, I mean, they do blow, right?
They're opening up an
Bro, who allowed this? Who allowed this man to sit down for 3 hours? This is a disaster. I can't believe that this is amazing. Thank you, internet gods, for this. This is glorious, glorious content. Holy shit, man. I am blown away by this. Let's see. Where are we at here? Timbo Slice says, hey, Jeremy. First time catching a live stream since before the election. Love your videos to keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. That is awesome. Well, I'm happy that you're here hanging out with us. White Wolf says, put the pipe down. I'm kind of retarded. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Flag Ninja says, Theo Huxtable is dead, but Cosby is still alive. No justice. Yes, sad that Theo / Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away at 54 years old. They're saying it's from an accidental drowning. I don't know the details. I haven't seen any specifics or anything like that, but very sad, very sad. Jared Armstrong says, will Hunter beat you in a push-up contest? Fat. If he's cracked out, he will. White Wolf says, Hunter needs to pipe down. Let's see. The Hedson says, Biden's running would have Jeremy going Super Saiyan. It would be glorious. It would be glorious. Swimming with the Obamas. Sheesh. Yeesh. Hijit says, Hunter Hooker 2028. Honestly, man, like I think that politics has changed forever. Like it absolutely has. Like politics has changed forever. And Hunter Biden getting involved in the 2028 race, like a few years ago, you may have thought that was crazy to even think about. Now, I don't think it's that crazy. I really don't. I don't think it's that crazy at all. But in case you guys, this is the update right here. So, star of Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner has drowned at the age of 54. There's so many questions I have with that. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could have an accidental drowning at 54 years old. But I mean, there are freak accidents that happen. But I personally can't. I can't even comprehend that. I mean, I was in a pool yesterday, and I don't know how you could have an accidental drowning. I just don't understand that at all. So 54 years old is way too young. I don't know much about him outside of the fact that he was on the Cosby Show. So guess we'll see what the details are. There's had to be more involved with that. But time will tell, right? Okay. But we're not going to spend all day on that. There's a lot to talk about. In fact, I got to show you this. Okay. This is, to me, with all the stuff going on, the people that, like, I look at who is talking about the Epstein stuff right now, and they're primarily people that were never Trump supporters or people that pretended to be Trump supporters and then turned on him. And this is a classic example of this right here. So this was 10 days ago. This is 10 days ago. Stephen A. Smith. Okay. I want you to understand the timeline we're dealing with here. Okay. 10 days ago, this is Stephen A. Smith.
If you're a Republican, if you're the GOP, I mean, the big, beautiful bill was just passed, even though the deficit is going to escalate from 3.3 trillion over 5 trillion, assuming you believe the Congressional Budget Office and all of this other stuff. I mean, with all of these things that's going on, with the 2017 tax cuts reserved, with so much stuff that's going on that the left didn't want to happen, that you on the right said you wanted to happen, with the borders being closed, supposedly that being handled, with migrants being escorted out of this country in droves, according to you, and what you wanted, you're in an uproar off the Epstein list. That's all you've got. It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I can give a damn about the Epstein client list. This has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much to these. I'm talking about people losing. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed off about everything. I'm like, really? with all the stuff going on in this country, with all the power that you possess because of the cachet and the influence you have because of your connection to this administration. That's why you upset at Trump. I didn't blame Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you? That's really that important? Now, maybe he had a different reason for saying it, trying to be evasive or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. In the grand scheme of things, it ain't going to affect the lives of over 200 to 300 million Americans. I think we'll be just fine without knowing whether or not there was really a client list.
Now, that was Stephen A. Smith 10 days ago. Now, Stephen A. is a classic fence sitter. Stephen A. doesn't stand for anything specifically in politics. He stands for absolutely nothing. So he's always flip-flopping his positions. That was 10 days ago. Now here's Stephen A. Smith today talking about President Trump.
Well, I think it's the president being petty. I think it's him being evasive. Because the reality is that no matter how good he wants people to believe things are with the big, beautiful bill and other things that have been transpiring, tariff wars, the border issues or whatever, if you're on the right, obviously you're happy with a lot of things that are going on. And there's nothing to take credit away from that. I leave the political evaluations to other people. But nevertheless, there are millions upon millions of people in the United States of America that are not necessarily happy with some of the things that he's doing. So what does he do? He caters to his base because when you look at the Redskins name, obviously it's something that needed to be changed. And by him bringing that issue up, we all know from a political landscape, it's much ado about nothing. It's just him catering to his base to make sure that he serves to appease them in some way, to distract them from other issues, including the Epstein files, by the way, because a lot of people for the social.
You just said you don't care about it. You just said you don't care about it. It doesn't matter to you. It's completely made up and it's stupid and why are people worried about it? And now you're saying that Trump is going after the Redskins name to distract from the Epstein files. Holy shit.
With the MAGA right want those files released, and you even have Republican representatives on the Hill wanting those files released, wanting to see for themselves because they're not buying what the administration is saying when they say that there's absolutely nothing there. But I think it's important to.
That is amazing. That is an amazing and incredible flip-flop from Stephen A. Smith right there. And that's why the conversation on the Epstein stuff to me is, for me anyway, is specifically about the administration's handling of it, which I think has been disastrous, to say the least. It's been a complete and total disaster on every single level. Now, that's fine. We can have that discussion. I think the Trump administration has handled it terribly. Now, when you start talking about the people out there that claiming that, oh, Trump is on the list and that's why he's hiding it. Shut up. Okay. You're an idiot. You're retarded. Or the people that say that he's working for Israel to cover it up. Again, retarded. Then you have the Democrats that are claiming they want the Epstein files released, yet you didn't say anything about the Epstein files for 4 years when Biden was in office. Then you have the big YouTubers that never talk about politics unless they can bring an anti-Trump narrative into it. And they're all talking about the Epstein stuff right now. Yet none of those YouTubers that never talk about politics until they can talk about Trump and the Epstein files, none of them, almost knocked over Cobra Commander, none of them brought up the Epstein files when Joe Biden was in office. None of them. None of them brought up the Epstein files. None of them were concerned with the Epstein files. And then Trump gets in office and suddenly they all care about the Epstein files. Magically, suddenly they care about the Epstein files. But they're not talking about the Obama news that happened, but they'll talk about the Epstein stuff because they don't actually care. They only care about the anti-Trump narrative that they can build around it. I care about holding the administration accountable for their own actions. So when you say, well, Jeremy, you didn't talk about the Epstein stuff until Trump got in office either. Yes, because the Trump administration did bring those influencers to the White House and gave them the Epstein binder, which I thought was a disastrous situation. They did that. They rolled it out. They called it phase one. They made themselves look stupid. And that's what I am criticizing. Because as I've said, you would have been better off just saying nothing at all. But you look like idiots when you did that. So anyway, that's just an interesting kind of perspective where Stephen A. 10 days ago says he doesn't care about Epstein, doesn't care about the list, and he can't believe people are making a big deal of it. And now Trump is going after the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians, and suddenly Stephen A. says, well, he's doing that as a distraction from the Epstein list. Like, what? How do you do that 10 days apart? It's absolutely incredible. Gerald Armstrong says, crack is clean, Hunter Biden. Zenny Biscuit says, this can't be real. The Exalted Patriarch says, Hunter Biden sounds like Eddie Murphy doing his white guy voice. Crazy Clown Town says, in the words of Ripa, don't do crack. Madney says, no yellow if you know, you know. DJ Fisty says, did someone say crack? CJ says, if Hunter could run for president, so can you. Dude, I want Hunter Biden to run for president so badly. It would be amazing. CG says, if Hunter can run for president, I got that one. Warbear says, only one D in drowning. No, I say drowning. Fuck it. I don't care. I'm from Alabama. Who gives a fuck about words? Blast Radius says, crack smoker Hunter Biden is just mad that his dealers are getting deported. Let's see. Christian Rocker says, drowning. Put the D in something else. The Hedson said, the list doesn't matter. People on the list. Gerald Armstrong says, check out Stephen A.'s acting range on General Hospital. There's a scene where he shoots a guy in the hospital. I've seen Stephen A. on General Hospital. It's absolutely hilarious, by the way. Let's see. Tucker's, is it Tucker's cousin says, F them kids, Stephen A. Good old Stephen A. Smith. Okay, we got more to talk about. Now, earlier, I tweeted this out, and I had people crying about it because, of course, you know, it's what they do. But James Gunn is blaming Donald Trump, President Trump, for his movie underperforming at the international box office. Because according to James Gunn, there's an anti-American sentiment around the world right now. James Gunn says anti-American sentiment right now around the world right now is not helping Superman at the global box office. Of course, he's going to blame Trump. Now, I've got people crying in my mentions, and they're like, James Gunn didn't blame Trump, Jeremy. You're just being mean. And I'm like, okay. So let's look at what he said. James Gunn says anti-American sentiment around the world right now is not helping Superman. Okay. Superman is not a known commodity in some places. He is not a big known superhero in some places like Batman is. This affects things. It also affects things that we have a certain amount of anti-American sentiment around the world right now that isn't really helping us. All right. Now, let me remind you, okay, the same James Gunn that these fucking losers are trying to defend. This is James Gunn years ago. James Gunn doesn't care if bashing Donald Trump loses him fans, compares the president to Hitler and Putin. Now, I ask, where did the anti-American sentiment come from? Because I don't remember there being an anti-American sentiment for Top Gun Maverick. I don't remember that one. Do you remember an anti-American sentiment around the world for Top Gun Maverick? Oh, no, that's right. Top Gun Maverick was a global success everywhere. A global success. And that movie came out when? In 2022? 2022? So from 2022 to now 2025, suddenly now we have an anti-American sentiment. Well, where could that anti-American sentiment come from, according to James Gunn? Orange Man bad. So James Gunn, like a lot of the lefties out there, are blaming the disastrous international box office on Superman 25 on President Trump. Anti-bad movie sentiment. Exactly, Dan Vask. Exactly. And as I've said, I think that that movies like Superman benefit from being very pro-American from an overseas standpoint, because there's a certain view that people like America to have, and Superman is an American story, and you put that patriotic theme behind it, much like you did with Top Gun Maverick, and that's only going to benefit you at the international box office. But James Gunn decided that we can't have truth, justice, in the American way. It's got to be truth, justice, and the human way. Now, of course, that was not even said in the movie, but the point being is that was part of the narrative that they were building around this movie. And it's because James Gunn is a leftist. He has TDS. And even if they try to say and do all of the right things, at his core, this is who James Gunn is. He is a person who is driven by his Trump derangement syndrome. And this comment puts it into perfect perspective. So, yeah, people are trying to say that he didn't say Trump, Jeremy. He doesn't have to fucking say Trump. What do you think he means by there's an anti-American sentiment around the world? What the fuck do you think he means? Do you think he would say that if Joe Biden was president? Do you think he would say that if Kamala Harris was president? Are you fucking kidding me right now? We know exactly what he means by that. We know exactly what he means. Now, to be fair to James Gunn, the movie is performing very well domestically. It's performing very well. A lot better than I thought it would do. So domestically, Superman 25 is actually doing very well. It's internationally is where it's struggling, and it's struggling bad to the point where I don't know if the movie's going to hit 600 million worldwide, and it needed to do more than that. But it is, to be fair, it is performing domestically very, very well. So I wanted to give credit where credit's due from that perspective. It is performing well. Yeah, it's good, not great. I agree. Domestically, it's good, not great. Now, I did not like the movie at all. I really did not like the movie. And if you want to get a gauge for what people are actually saying about the movie, then you should go over to Criticless, where I have an account. So here's Criticless. You can sign up over there. They have an app on Apple and Android, and it's essentially a Rotten Tomatoes letterboxed alternative, and it's a really good site. But my review for Superman right here, I gave it a 30%. Overall, on this website, out of 272 votes, it has an average of 54%. So that means that the average score is a 54 out of 100. And you can go through and read everybody's reviews, and that will help you make decisions on future television shows or movies in the future if you're interested in that. And we're also looking to add video games to the database over there in the future. Hopefully we can get that done sooner than later. But yeah, so anyway, that was our short little entertainment section here. But I did want to talk about how James Gunn going full TDS and blaming everything on President Trump. Not surprising from him at all. I mean, it's James Gunn. What do you expect from James Gunn? So, Phil McCracken says, Man of Steel came out when Trump was president too, and it did well. It did do well overseas. You are correct. You are correct. Let's see. Greenlight Courier Services. There's an anti-Hollywood sentiment. He's delusional. Yes, he is delusional. Ryan Miller says, this reminds me of when Bros flopped and Billy, is it Eichner, and called people homophobes. Actually, it flopped because of the messaging or identity politics. This is 100% accurate. That movie was a disaster, actually. That movie, in terms of the performance at the box office. I forgot all about that movie. Okay, so Tulsi Gabbard has just handed Trump and the Justice Department receipts to launch a criminal investigation on bombshell claims that Barack Obama manufactured Russian collusion hoax. And we have some updates on that story because this happened on Friday, I believe, is when we started to get that news. Tulsi Gabbard has promised more information that she's going to be delivering. Let's check this out.
Well, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard says she has identified, quote, overwhelming evidence to show how Obama-era officials manufactured.
Overwhelming evidence. Overwhelming.
Manufactured the Trump-Russia collusion hoax after he was elected in 2016. Here is DNI Gabbard on what she found.
Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. Creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people.
Wow, this is a lot. And the DOJ just received that referral from DNI Gabbard.
Yeah, so Tulsi Gabbard said that she was going to turn over the documents this morning. She did the official turnover. And so now it goes to the DOJ. We'll see what they find out. Let them do the investigation. Let them look into it. Look at the accusations. I mean, look, this is something that happened nearly a decade ago. So certainly I think it would be maybe good for the American people to get more clarity and more information. Does it need to go beyond that? Hard to say, especially on the legal side. But the other thing I thought about with all of this is, you know, if you're the president of the United States today, you're in your second term. You won, despite what maybe Obama or Hillary Clinton or anybody else that was associated with this hoax, whatever they were responsible for or did, you won again, term two. And we're now at the 6-month mark for Donald Trump. And look how great the stock market is doing. The border is closed.
Is she saying is she saying that he should just forget about it since he won? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you no, hell no. Hell no, they should not forget it. Absolutely not. This is what goes back to the 2020 situation where I said that if Trump doesn't win in 2024, you can kiss everything goodbye, because that means that they were successful in 2020. Trump had to win in 2024 to right the wrongs of what they did in 2020.
So maybe look at that instead.
Nicole, Congressman Pat Fallon told me last hour, Republican congressman, that if there was something that was law-breaking here, that there should be accountability, because this is so problematic. And he seems to think he couldn't release everything that he's already seen. Well, no one can at this point, but he said as this becomes more public, you'll see what I'm talking about.
And I agree with him 100%, because again, if you broke the law, if they actually did participate in this, I do believe in accountability. And I do believe that there should be tangible consequences for this type of behavior, because what this does is it's not just the crime that was committed allegedly. It's that you destroy the trust of these intel agencies, of these law enforcement agencies, the CIA, the FBI, all of these agencies involved in that. And again, I was at the FBI in 2016, and I can tell you that this was the first time that I really felt, wow, the FBI has been politicized. And I was down in FBI Miami. Oh yeah, it was July 5th of 2016 when Jim Comey came out and said no reasonable prosecutor will charge Hillary Clinton. I will never forget that moment. And I'm down in FBI Miami working violent crime. Literally the next day I was given a case of a child who had been raped by her biological father. And we're trying to work real cases in Miami. In the meantime, we're hearing about this nonsense going on in DC, just trying to ignore it. We're like, look, that's not our problem. That's the political side of things. So again, going back to the original point, I do believe that there should be consequences, because not only does it destroy the trust of the American people, it destroyed the trust of FBI agents. We're like, what is going on in my agency? This is my director.
To be fair, the FBI did that to themselves. So you can try to blame that on one situation in particular. But this is the same FBI that decided to go and investigate the Bubba Wallace, Bubba Smollett garage door pull at, I believe it was Talladega Super Speedway, when Bubba Smollett claimed that someone put a noose in his garage because of racism. So the FBI sent like fucking, how many fucking agents, like 6 agents to Talladega to investigate it. And nobody gives a shit about the FBI, and they haven't for a long time.
Can I trust my FBI director? And I can tell you that the FBI has never recovered since, in my opinion, because of the destructive behavior of James Comey and others that may have been involved, Brennan, Clapper, others in the intel agencies. And, let's let them see what they've got. They've given the information to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. Let them follow the evidence. If a crime was committed, you know what they always say? No one is above the law. And you know what? You're not either. And so let's see.
I really don't like how she talks. Like, she seems like she belongs in like a 90s like comedy that's built around women. Look how she's talking. I don't know who she is.
To Attorney General Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, let them follow the evidence. If a crime was committed, you know what they always say? No one is above the law. And you know what? You're not either. And so let's see what happens. Follow the evidence.
There you go, Griff.
Well, look, I think that to Nicole's point, accountability is the goal of this. And over the weekend, we interviewed on Fox and Friends, Tulsi Gabbard as well on Saturday. And it struck me that she's making the case that, look, this is a manipulated and politicized effort to change the narrative to usurp Donald Trump's election, and that every American across bipartisan lines should care about accountability. And she said that ultimately that accountability goes all the way to the top, to former President Barack Obama. Now, I think to Cheryl's point, does this lead to actual charges? I don't know. I
think that I don't want to say it's like there's a 0% chance of Obama getting arrested or anybody prominent, but it's pretty close to zero. I don't want to say absolutely positively not, but I would just say like the chances of Obama or anybody prominent actually being arrested is very, very low. It's very low.
I think, Harris, one thing that might be in the cards to come down the pike is some congressional hearings in seeing people like Comey, like Brennan, like Clapper, like Susan Rice being called before Congress, because you would think that if there are, quote, charges brought, it's because of statements they made that were inconsistent with what was actually done according to these documents.
Yeah. Can they plead the fifth, like what we've seen here recently?
We saw an awful lot of that out of the inner circle to Biden's aides.
I don't know how much more you'll get. I guess my kind of top-down concern has to do with how far back this went if ex-President Obama was involved. I mean, they would have been working against Donald Trump to help Hillary win, to what else? What could have been the reason for all of that?
Because they wanted to stay in control, and Donald Trump was operating so far outside the establishment that I think to a lot of people whom many would consider the deep state, he was uncontrollable. He was such an unknown quantity that they were terrified that he would come in and upend the establishment. And, it's like in many ways, he has. In many ways, he has destroyed a lot of norms that people didn't realize were detrimental to this country. And I understand why DNI Gabbard has a vested interest here, because if you remember, this is something that Hillary Clinton was pushing long after she lost the 2016 election. She said with great certainty.
It doesn't go back, like, it's not going to go, like, you could find corruption and all that, I'm sure. But I'm saying in terms of Trump himself, I don't think it goes back much further than what they're reporting on, because they truly believed that Trump had no chance of even coming close to the nomination, much less winning the general. No one thought this. You've seen the intro I've done a 1,000 times, where none of them thought he could win. None of them. You said this is boring, bro. All right, then I'm gonna back it up and we'll replay it again. So hang on. There you go. All right, you said it was boring. I'm backing it up and I'm playing it again because you said it was boring. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna listen to all that shit again. But like I saw this clip. Now, again, some of the stuff that I've played here on the channel, it's going to be stuff that you've seen too. We're not going to listen to this whole thing, but this is why I'm telling you that it doesn't go back that far. Remember this? This is what they were saying about Trump.
The nominee, Chuck. I mean, as you know, I'm ahead in Ohio.
So, Jenny, could he actually win?
No freaking way.
I think we'll be tempted to run.
be predictably shellacked.
Do not tell me that Donald Trump is in this to win this, okay? He's a sideshow.
This is going to turn a three-ring circus into a freak show.
He's not running for president. He's running for Keep Me Famous.
I thought this was maybe some strategy for a new reality show.
How should Republicans handle Donald Trump?
Ignore him.
And Donald Trump is not going to be the nominee of this party.
Well, I don't think it's likely that Donald Trump will be the nominee.
Well, I do, based on your theme, believe that he's here to stay for a while, maybe through a few primaries, but he is not going to be the nominee.
Well, I'm going to support the Republican nominee, and I'm comfortable that it's not going to be Donald Trump.
Oh, it's so funny seeing little Marco back in the day. Oh, man. But my point being with this is that it doesn't go back that far because this was the mindset of everyone. No one thought Donald Trump had a chance. They all looked at him as a sideshow, as a joke. They looked at him as a comedy act. So it wasn't like they were going, we've got to stop him. This is like before the general, nobody was going, we have to stop this guy. That's why they panicked so quickly when it did happen.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
Donald Trump will not become president.
He's not going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it. All right.
I think if he becomes the president, he'll make it great because the states is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom,
Take it from me. How about that?
Yes,
and then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country.
I know, like I said, a lot of this is going to be my intro, but this shows you a lot more of, I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but this is to show you the mindset of all of these people.
Does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
And we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket next. I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on.
George Slopadopoulos, who got sued by Trump.
Republican ticket next. I know you don't believe that.
Slopadopoulos. Dude, I love watching all of these people just get they have been destroyed by this one man, and it will never, ever, ever, ever get old.
But I want to go on.
Sorry to laugh.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
Joy Reid. Dude, it's like a greatest hits of all of these clowns. They're all broken. To this day, they're all broken, jobless losers.
And so, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call
Another
for political
jobless
honesty,
loser.
I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? But come on, buddy. All, let's say, cow poo-poo aside, there is zero chance we'll be seeing you being sworn in on the Capitol steps with your hand on a giant golden Bible.
I'll make a prediction, though, for you. And I don't really get into predictions much, but this one I'll go way out on a limb.
know
Donald
why.
Trump will never, ever be president of the United States. That Trump should not be in this race. He's an absurdity. He is a travesty.
Donald Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
Donald Trump is the here today, gone tomorrow candidate for president of the United States. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Ever respectful of the fact that the people have not voted, he's not going to be president of the United States.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump will lose the election.
I mean, he had a really good chance to be different and really have a chance to change things, but he doesn't do the work. He's lazy.
We talk about him every day, and we continuously bash him.
He's not going to be the president. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
This will be a wake-up call to the Republican Party. Despite Boris thinking that Donald Trump could win New York, like this, the presidential race is over.
Could I just cut through? I have one thing to say, one thing only, and that is that this race is over. Tomorrow morning, the money will dry up.
This moment right here was after the famous grab them by the pussy comment. So after that one, this is where they were saying he's done. He's over. He can't survive this.
The Republicans will start to hide. Trump has no place to go. This race, effectively, as of tonight, is no longer a presidential race. Everything I know about presidential politics, and I've been through 5 of them, I've never seen one like this. This race is over. You might as well accept it. And the question now is, how do you minimize damage? And the only way you can do that, it seems to me, is to try to grab hold of some old conservative value things and do what Mondale did in '84, which is try to save a few people down ballot. But as far as Donald Trump is concerned, it will never, ever, ever happen.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
Our new NBC News Survey Monkey poll is out today. It puts Hillary Clinton up by 10 points over Donald Trump. And this is not the first poll since the conventions to give Clinton a double-digit lead. This is actually the fourth. 4 polls that have Clinton up by more than 10 points, or at least 10 points. Staying the kind of lead she has leaped out into.
I said I wasn't going to watch all of this. It's so satisfying, though. Like, this is so satisfying to watch all of these people be proven so unbelievably wrong. And then still to this day, you have people doing the same thing right now.
To this race, you could see other states that suddenly get crazy, states you wouldn't have even imagined, like a South Carolina, even a Texas. They could at least become competitive. And what it would mean doesn't mean Hillary Clinton's going to win all of these. It means we could have more competitive states than we ever imagined. That's the way the lay of the land right now at this low moment for Donald Trump. We'll be back right after this.
We're back with David Hundo P. Clough, the man who says Hillary Clinton has a 100% chance of winning. So that means that no scenario that we could lay out to get Donald Trump to 270 electoral votes is something he would buy. So we thought we'd get David in here to look at those scenarios that the Republicans are talking about, citing them as a potential path to victory, and explain to us why they are not just implausible, but impossible.
If you look at Wisconsin, the Marquette poll came out yesterday. She's up 6 points. She's up 4 points in our polling in Pennsylvania. If she keeps those together, all she needs is New Hampshire, and she puts the race away, and she's up there.
Well,
so again,
Colorado. For them to look at fortune, and it is true, fortune favors the bold. But if the Comey bomb didn't get them where they need to be,
that really is the question, right?
It's it'll be interesting tomorrow night, I think, when Hillary Clinton wins, that Donald Trump will have lost this election from the very first day he announced.
If the numbers bear out what we're seeing thus far, Hillary Clinton will win Florida. And the delicious irony in this is that Donald Trump will have been kept from the White House by a big, beautiful brown wall.
And CNN projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida
Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes. North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas. He has now taken the lead. Donald Trump has 128 electoral votes. Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio. He has 167 electoral votes compared to Hillary Clinton's 109. Idaho, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, Utah, Wisconsin, Arizona.
What we should really just take a moment here and look at this. Pollsters predicted that Hillary Clinton was going to have not just a victory, but that she was going to win an electoral landslide. Not only is that not happening, it is entirely possible that Donald Trump is truly redrawing the map the way that he said he was going to. It was Donald Trump versus almost all the experts. And as of right now, it looks like Donald Trump was right.
Donald Trump has defeated Hillary Clinton to become president-elect of the United States.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated.
This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for. And I'm sorry that we did not win this election.
I love this country.
The shockwaves from Donald Trump's victory continue to be felt across America and around the world.
Donald Trump wird der 45.
Élu Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump.
Everyone was wrong. The backlash begins. Some magazines are facing big embarrassments today. Newsweek had already shipped out this cover, Madam Secretary. But
they already shipped the cover out. So my point for watching this video was that it can't go back that far, much further than what Tulsi has already found, because none of them believed that Trump had a chance. They all dismissed him. They all dismissed any chance of him winning.
Cover, Madam Secretary, but quickly had to change it to this, President Trump.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
There it is. So there was I wasn't planning on watching the whole thing, but it was just so damn good. We decided to check it out. But the point of that entire, montage there was to go back to the point that they were making here as to like, how far back could this go? Yada, yada, yada. And my argument is not much further than it probably has been found to be, because they did not think he had a chance. And once they found out that not only does he have a chance, he's already the president, that's when they started panicking and coming up with all of this nonsense. So, here we are. Kevin Hunts 450 says, I took a big, beautiful brown sheet. I deported down the drain the Browns. Thank you, Kevin. I'm sure the chat loved to get that piece of information from you. I certainly did, because it was $50 super chat. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. And I just want to personally thank President Trump, because he is the single reason we do not have a female president. So thank you, President Trump, for your sacrifice to make sure that we don't have a female president. So that's a pretty outstanding thing that he accomplished. So not once, but twice. Not once, but twice. So I got to show you this as well, because it reminded me of this. Sadly, if I could find it, I don't know where the bookmark is exactly. Oh God. All right. I'm going to apologize for, I'll play this here in just a minute. Red Mage for 20 says, even though I don't like Michael Moore, I remember him making the point that Trump was the hand grenade that people could throw at the establishment. Well, yeah, Michael Moore is, that dude is so deranged. It's not even funny. I don't even know what he's up to these days. I have no idea. Let's see. Luis says this compilation is like digging up an old CD mix from 15 years ago with nothing but absolute bangers. That is true. That is true. Kevin Hunts for 50 says, F, sorry to the chat that was eating. It was a joke. My bad. Oh, we got a raid from Gary. What's up, Gary? Hail to the, is it the Nooner? Was it the Nerdotic Nooner? Thank you for the raid, Gary. Appreciate that. And hail to all the chat from Gary's Nerdotic Nooner. Thank you, Kevin, for the 50. And he apologized to the chat because he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy. Okay, listen, Nerdotic crowd, I'm sorry, but I'm about to punish my audience here because I saw this clip. And I just want to remind everyone that this was what we almost had. I think you should thank President Trump because this is what we almost had. Can you imagine this idiot in the Oval Office making decisions?
Those debates, you landed haymakers on Joe Biden. I mean, his teeth were like chiclets all over the stage. And now I believe you that you're fully supportive of him. How does that transition happen? How do you go from being such a passionate opponent on such bedrock principles for you, and now you guys seem to be pals?
It was a debate.
Not everybody landed punches like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it?
It was a debate. That the whole reason, literally, it was a debate. It was called a debate.
I understand.
Traveled to the debate. There were journalists there covering the debate where there would be a debate of differences of opinion and issues. Okay. I am 1,000% supportive of Joe Biden. It was a debate.
Good Lord, man. How do you, like, what a horrible answer. What a horrendous answer. You can't get worse than that. And she got over 70 million votes, by the way. Let me point that out. She got over 70 million votes. How is that possible? I have no idea. Mark of Reality says, where did it go? I just lost it. Mark of Reality says she moves her eyebrows like Gavin Newsom moves his hands. I think that was the Fox News host is what you were talking about. Operation 1968 says, even when he was president, I liked to call Obama President Shit for Brains. Yeah, he was pretty awful. David Nelson says, long time no pay. Here's a $5. Hail the 199. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Apollo says, this is enjoyable, talking about the compilation we were watching. Mark of Reality says, Trump didn't get 55% of Latino men and 51.1 of Latino women last time around. I thought the Latinos had a higher Donald J. Trump percentage than white people. I don't know the specific numbers. He did well with Hispanics and Latinos, and so I don't know. Steel Storm Gaming says, I remember watching Colbert cry on election night. I remember when people actually thought Colbert was legit when he was on on Comedy Central. People actually thought Colbert was legit, and I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me. He was always a clown, but once he got his late night gig, you kind of started to see right through him. I gotta say, so right here, and this kind of puts it into perspective for everything that we see on the internet. There was this tweet, okay? This tweet right here says, name a man that didn't deserve the hate that he got, okay? someone quote tweets PewDiePie. And this guy said one bad word 8 years ago and is still being dragged through the mud. People need to learn to let go. This tweet has 291,000 likes. And I agree with this, by the way. I agree with this. That Pewds did not deserve all the hate that he gets. Some of the responses to this tweet are absolutely unhinged beyond belief. What word did he say? He said a word that, I might have said once here on a stream by accident, and it's the first time I've ever said it. I've never said it in traffic, or I've never said it, any other place. But so some people were going, it was more than just a word, Jeremy. Not to me, obviously, but to the person that quote tweeted it. So they started to screen cap some things that he said in his song. All right. Like this is supposed to make us hate him or something. So this is some of the lyrics from his song. About to cause a genocide, so you can call me. And he says, because he's talking about T-Series. He's talking about T-Series. All right. And and then he says, guess to beat one Swedish boy, you need 1 billion Asians. And then he said, I'm a blue-eyed white dragon. You're just, you're just a dark wizard. Your language sounds like it comes from a mumble rap community. And so I'm just like, yeah, I remember this. Makes PewDiePie even more awesome right here. So, but the hate that PewDiePie constantly gets is absolutely insane. And now he's completely won at life. And it makes all of these people even more angry that Pewds has won at life. But this is where he's at. He won at life, and they are all continue to be complete and total losers. And he's not even on Twitter anymore. He's completely checked out. He does family vlogs now. And yeah, man, he's good peeps. So I saw this tweet, and I'm glad it got so much positive traction. But if you want to go into the quote tweets of this one, you will see how bad it is. The hatred for PewDiePie is next level. Some Mouse Potato said I miss his content. Yeah, I miss PewDiePie making regular uploads as well, but the dude's won at life, so he's doing good stuff. Breaking news. The Trump White House has booted the Wall Street Journal from the press pool for Trump's trip to Scotland this week. So the Wall Street Journal has been booted for Trump's trip to Scotland this week. That's what happens when you spread a bunch of lies, Wall Street Journal. So Wall Street Journal has been kicked from the press pool. Absolutely awesome. Hell yeah. Yep, we're getting more reports on it now. Just in, the White House is now kicking out the Wall Street Journal from the press pool covering President Trump's weekend trip to Scotland. FAFO, just like when the AP refused to call it Gulf of America, defaming a president has consequences now. So due to the Wall Street Journal's fake and defamatory conduct, they will not be on one of the 13 outlets on board. Every news organization in the entire world wishes to cover President Trump, and the White House has taken significant steps to include as many voices as possible, but the Wall Street Journal is not. Again, on the subject of PewDiePie, this is the reason I became a fan of PewDiePie, was because of the Wall Street Journal, because they came out with a big time hit piece calling him a Nazi. And I'd never paid attention to him at all up until that point. And so they deserve all of the hate that they get, and they deserve all the backlash that they are getting. Servant Berserker Zero says this montage isn't perfect because of no clip. Oh yeah. Patriotic Assault says, my favorite question to ask people who voted for Kamala, what were you all thinking? She was part of the problem. They weren't thinking, and that's ultimately the problem. Mad Frog says, when it comes to a female president's, let's see, when it comes to female presidents, Donald Trump is Dikembe Mutombo, the no finger wag, 100%. Except, if you remember, there was one person that did dunk on Mutombo, if you remember this. I don't know if you remember that. So Dikembe Mutombo was, iconic for being an unbelievable defensive player. And the GOAT, he talked shit to the GOAT one time right here. This is Dikembe Mutombo talking shit to Jordan.
Come on, man. You can't be for real. You haven't got me yet. Huh? Mike, don't even try it. You want me to go call Scotty? You have to call Scotty. Boy. What you call Scotty for? I haven't got you recently. Yeah, I agree with that. No, you haven't got me in 6 years. One, two, guys, just go ahead and say it. He never dunked on you? No. Never? He said, I'll get you one day. No. He never dunked on you. He never put you on the highlight. No. He said, I would love to give him my poster, but it's not happening. It's not going to happen. You know he's lying. It's never going to happen. Oh, man. All right, we're going to cancel your agreement. Boy, who gets Scotty?
Puts it off the glass. Nope, Luke tipped it out. Michael get it forward for the fresh shot clock. MJ.
Oh, he did it. Michael shakes the finger, but he finally got his dunk on Mount Mutombo.
He never dunked on you. He never put you on the highlight. No. He said, I would love to give him my poster, but it's not happening.
The man right there. By far. Again, this is where we live in this world where people say LeBron's better than Jordan. It's the same world that we live in where people say that somebody's a better Superman than Christopher Reeve. It's not possible, okay? There are some things that are not possible. No one will ever be better than Christopher Reeve as Superman, and no one will ever be better than Michael Jordan at basketball. These are facts, okay? You can prefer someone, you can have a favorite player, you can like someone more, but don't tell me anybody's better than Jordan, and don't tell me anybody's better than Christopher Reeve. It's not possible. Again, I even made this point on my Twitter account the other day because somebody, where's it at? Yeah, somebody says, sorry, Christopher Reeve was crappy Superman. I don't give a crap about Reeve. Cavill was way better. Just a crappy script and made by a crappy storyteller. You can't deny Henry Cavill looks far more like a real-life Superman than freaking crappy Reeve. So I said some opinions don't deserve respect. And I responded to this person, I don't respect your opinion. Now, someone in the comments responded right here. While I honestly did like Cavill as Superman more, no way in hell I can shit on the legend that is Christopher Reeve as Superman. And that's where I said this. If someone prefers Cavill over Reeve, that's fine. Even if I strongly disagree. As long as the proper respect is given to the legend Christopher Reeve. Always respect the legend. He was always, he set the standard for superhero casting. It was a glorious, glorious, glorious time. And even if the movies themselves don't hold up, which I can see that argument from someone that maybe is watching the original Superman movies for the first time, I can see where people that are watching it for the first time maybe don't think that the movie holds up. But Reeves' performance holds up. It will always, it will stand the test of time. His performance is second to none. Second to none. But yeah, anyway, let's go back to that. Boom. And Mad Frog, see, you got a whole clip out of that one from your $5 super chat. So there you go. Anthony Buck says in 18, I was 18 in 2016, so I didn't take Trump seriously. It wasn't until early 2018 after The Last Jedi that my eyes were opened to the media's lies. It's been a hell of a journey, brother. It's been a hell of a journey. Well, see, for me, I mean, I don't want to say I didn't take Trump seriously because I took Trump seriously as an individual, but I did not take his presidential run seriously in the beginning. You have to understand, I had been aware of Donald Trump for a long time, aware of, how he does things. And I watched The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice. I thought that Trump was running for president as a marketing ploy at first. It was at first. I was like, okay, he's building another hotel, or he's coming out with another show. There's no way that he's actually going to try to run for president. And I've talked about that many times, but when he went to South Carolina in front of a very, very pro George W. Bush Republican Party and stood up on that stage and said George W. Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction and Iraq was a mistake, and the whole place booed him. And I'm like, oh shit, he's not working a gimmick right now. This dude is serious. And so there it is, So Kevin Hunts 450 says the Wall Street Jews are super pissed for 50. And then he says for another 50, or Jack Nicklaus golf. I'm not reading the second part, but thank you, Kevin. Thank you. 8 o'clock says, but clowns can be funny, Jeremy. Ruben Haynes says, why did it get 70 mil? The rabbit hole goes deeper. Trump loves America and all Americans. I am pissed I am pushing Trump to take down the deep state. I am now ready to do the same. We are all Trump. MAGA must stand firm for the USA. Hail. What's up, Ruben? Good to see you here, brother. Look, Trump's got a lot on his plate. And I think that this whole Obama thing is going to get real nasty. I really do. And I don't think it's going to, this is going to play out for a while. Now, of course, you have the people, I see a few people here and there, and they're like, oh, it's a distraction. And I saw a guy yesterday after my live stream, and he said that Jeremy has stopped talking about the Epstein list because the new distraction has worked on him. And I don't know if the comment got auto deleted by YouTube or what. So I tried to respond to it and I couldn't find it after I tried to respond to it, but I was going to respond and I'm like, I've literally commented on the Epstein list during the live stream that you're commenting on. How do you have information on where the Epstein list is and you can't do simple fucking research on a live stream ran by a retard? I'm like, good Lord. You can't even do research on a live stream ran by a retard, the retard being me, but apparently you know about all of the stuff that's a cover up for the Epstein. These people are fucking retarded, dude. It's absolutely insane. Napsky says Henry Cavill has to be the next Batman. Just do it. Honestly, if James Gunn wants to throw a curveball, I would love for Henry Cavill to be Batman. I would love that. War Breer says this is the best CobraCast on YouTube. We try. It's not a high bar, but we try. Mad Frog, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mad Frog. Appreciate that. All right, more news. We have more stuff to talk about. I saw another Hunter Biden clip that I wanted to show you. What is this? Hang on. Wait, he went off on Nancy Pelosi? Is this another podcast? What the hell is going on? What? Why is Hunter Biden doing podcasts all of a sudden? What is this? Hunter Biden goes off on Nancy Pelosi, blaming her for his dad's... What? When did this happen?
And you would have the Speaker Emeritus that would say, well, I'm going to leave it up to, but I don't know. And they had already made a decision. They had clearly made a decision. And when I say they, I mean the Speaker. And, I heard Alexander Pelosi say something, call my put your big girl pants on to my mom or something. And I kind of feel like saying, who the fuck do you think you are? I would never speak about your mom that way. Yeah. I would never speak about your father that way. I would never insult your parents that way. Even to this day, I would never. And you would have
what is happening?
Speaker Emeritus that
Cocaine cast. Hunter, Hunter, start Cocaine Cast. Dude, the marketing writes itself. Cocaine Cast starring Hunter Biden. I'll be honest, I'd watch the fuck out of that. Bro, I would watch it. Kevin for 50 says, IDOT said you are an IDOT. You cover up artist Mossad agent. You sleep in Benny Shapiro sheets. What are you saying, Kevin? Oh, God. I love Kevin's super chats. They're the friggin' best. Dude, we need Cocaine Cast. Like, it needs to happen. Bring it on right now. If you make a Cocaine Cast, I will personally send you super chats, Hunter Biden. I will personally send you all the super chats. Okay, so right here, Hunter Biden blames the laptop repair shop owner for not going to bars to ask for his whereabouts. What?
Number one, I literally have no memory of ever dropping my laptop off there. Okay.
I can't believe this, dude. I can't believe this. Holy shit.
Number one, I literally have no memory of ever dropping my laptop off there. Okay. This guy swears that I did. Okay. Regardless, to your point. Okay. This is Wilmington. That laptop repair shop is in Trolley Square. I had family that owned a business that was literally the opposite side of them. There are literally within a stone's throw of where that person is in a very, very small community, at least a dozen people directly related to my family. Every night he used to go to 2 or 3 different bars in which he could have literally turned and talked to anyone and said, do you know how to get in touch with Hunter?
You're talking about the laptop
repair shop guy. Somehow that doesn't happen. But somehow this guy, who's supposed to be repairing a laptop, he says, decides what he's going to do is he's going to review the material, and what he sees is he thinks is evidence of a crime.
McIsaac says he also found documents that show payments made to Hunter Biden from a Ukrainian energy company that
Who thought this was a good idea? Who thought this was a good idea for him to do interviews? This is so bad on every level.
have become the center of a political firestorm.
More emails from Hunter Biden's laptop keep surfacing.
I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is.
Let's get the truth. What's in this laptop?
Now, again, the evidence he thinks is of a crime is my drug use. He thinks it's embarrassing. And all of a sudden, who ends up with my laptop? The one person in that moment in time that had more to gain than anyone else.
I got the hard drive legally, completely legally. Why are they worried about how I got it? Why don't they just say it's untrue?
Rudy Giuliani and his lawyer on behalf of Donald Trump. How is that possible? Does that just happen to happen?
I think that somebody that knows you may have been paid off to orchestrate some kind of data leak.
I don't know. And at this point, it's like, who cares? So then I get in an argument about, like, okay, well, who took the laptop? How did the laptop disseminate it? Was there really a laptop? Because there really isn't, by the way. Here's another anomaly of this. There really isn't a laptop. There's a hard drive. And then there's an amalgamation of a hard drive. There's an original hard drive that he says he has, and he argues with everybody else who says that there are like 400 gigabytes more that were added onto that from the dark web.
You never got a laptop before you wrote that story, did you?
That's correct.
You got a hard drive.
Hard drive.
And you received that hard drive from Rudy Giuliani, right?
Yep.
Who had been openly associating with an agent of Russian intelligence in the months leading up to your story. You agree with that, right?
I guess.
So you think the repair shop story is made up?
I think, I don't know, but all I know is that whatever this amalgamation of stuff is came from a whole host of different sources.
Yeah.
Because you can look at it now and the stuff that who thinks this is right? Who thinks it's right that every picture that you've ever taken, the ones that you would be embarrassed by and the ones that you would be proud of, should be on a website controlled by a guy that is a Christo-fascist fucking incel that lives in Indiana?
or Illinois. I forget which one.
Let's hope Indiana, because it's worse.
But really, who comes up with a 435-page dossier about all the crimes that it details? But literally, it just is it is an entire fiction that makes money off of. Who thinks that's right? And so
this is a complete and total disaster. This is a disaster. And I'm so happy that it's happening. And I encourage Hunter to do more of this. The more you talk, the better it is for all of us. And I do hope that he runs for president. I want him to run for president. I want him to run in 2028 now. This has to happen. Oh boy, here we go. Jeff Daniels whines about Trump's second term. Here we go, right here.
We've lost decency. We've lost civility. We've lost respect for the rule of law. Lost it. We have normalized verbal abuse on the internet. We've normalized bullying, much as the woke generation tried to, change that. It's back. And out the window goes character, integrity. I mean, nobody has great things to say about politicians. They never have. Go back to Mark Twain. But ideally, we're supposed to elect the best of us, not the worst of us. He's everything that's wrong with not just America, but with being a human being.
And this is what I was saying. James Gunn blaming Trump because he says there's an anti-American sentiment around the world right now. And that's why people aren't going to see a Superman movie overseas, because it's always Trump's fault. Always Trump's fault. And again, James Gunn says he doesn't care if bashing Trump loses him fans. He compares Trump to Hitler and Putin. This is how the Hollywood mindset views things. This is how they cope with their own failures. Because ultimately, at its core, a lot of these Hollywood people have such a massive ego that it drives them crazy that Trump is a bigger star than any of them. He is the bigger star than any single person in Hollywood. He's the biggest star in the world, period. But he's a bigger star on an individual level than any single person in Hollywood. And that hurts them so badly because they can't control him, because he goes after them, and they all worshiped him before he ran for president. And it drives them crazy because their ego is so fragile. They have the most fragile ego in the world, because what do? They get into their award shows. They sit around and they jerk each other off all the time at their award shows. They all laugh at their own jokes, and they all think that they're so funny. In Hollywood, they will cast you out immediately if you don't line up with the narrative. They do this all the time. It's them realizing that they are not as influential or powerful as they always believed they were. Trump is a clear reminder that none of you actually have the influence that you think you have. And it hurts them. Fuck them. So, Andrew Ciara says, this is proof any retard can have a podcast. Hunter, Jeremy, it doesn't matter. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Jess 007 says, can we bring back the bro emoji? It's more fun than typing bro in chat. Hail199, thank you for your attention to this matter. We might can work that out. I think we've got a few spots. I'll have to check and see. Matt Frog says his family runs Wilmington like Wesley in Roadhouse. Paul's 3604 says Chris Reeve is the GOAT without question and the best Superman, but only Dean Cain could have done Lois and Clark. Apples to oranges comparison. Oh yeah, I mean I love Lois and Clark. I love Lois and Clark. As I've said, and this is a testament to Chris Reeve as Superman, I don't think we've had a bad casting as Superman. Like since Superman 78, I don't think we've had a bad casting. I think everybody that's been cast as Superman has been freaking great. Brandon Routh I thought was excellent. Obviously, Henry Cavill was a great casting as Superman. Tyler Hoechlin, is that his name, in Superman and Lois, and Dean Cain. So yeah, I mean, everybody that's been cast has been great, but none of them close to the GOAT Reeve. Brian Stewart says pardons will be void, interviews to set the narrative. Oh, let's hope so. Piano Dean says, can we give that spider another shot at Jeff Daniels, please? Sec199 says freedom's back on the menu, boys. Michael Taylor says the TDS cope is as legitimate as the cope over the Jeffrey list. More importantly, they are incapable of change. Let's see. Stephen Strange on Rumble says, remember, this was when they kept asking Trump if he would accept the election results. They kept saying that the election would be honest, and then after the election, they said it was corrupted. Correct. Mod Eric says the $100 million raised for LA fire victims, zero has reached victims. Instead, corrupt Dems funneled all the money to MPOs, charging people for the debris and not letting them clean up. 40% rezoned. California is a disaster. Piano Dean says, could one of you geniuses please splice in clips of Jeff Daniels on the toilet from Dumb and Dumber into his comments in that interview? Jim P says, Jeff Daniels is only known for Dumb and Dumber. Well, he's had a couple of other roles, but Dumb and Dumber probably the most would probably be the most iconic one. Would be Dumb and Dumber, I would think. What do you guys think? Does he have a more iconic role than Dumb and Dumber? Lebowski? Speed? God, I forgot he was in. Was he in Arachnophobia? Cretosis with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. I haven't seen Arachnophobia in a long fucking time. Jim Carrey carries nearly every movie. Well, Jim Carrey, yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey is a left-wing nut job as well, but Jim Carrey, I think, is probably one of the most underrated actors because people think about Jim Carrey from a comedic standpoint, and he is a phenomenal comedian, but Jim Carrey is actually a great actor, a very underrated actor as well. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, like, there's this movie called The Majestic. With Jim Carrey. And if you have not seen it, I highly, highly recommend. All right. I highly recommend you check it out. It is so good. So good. Love it. It's truly one of it. I think it might be his best role. So, let's see. But yeah, I would say Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber is the Jeff for everything I know from Jeff Daniels. Like, I keep thinking he's Jeff Bridges because I kept thinking, what was that one movie? True Grit. I was thinking True Grit. I know somebody said The Big Lebowski. But yeah, I keep getting Bridges and Daniels mixed up. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yes. Truman Show. But The Majestic, I think, is Jim Carrey's best movie. So, let's see where we're at. Let me see. Superman 25 is not underperforming internationally. It's overperforming domestically. Won't elaborate. It is underperforming internationally. It absolutely is. It is overperforming domestically, but it absolutely is underperforming internationally. I even said it earlier where I said that it was doing very well domestically, but it is underperforming internationally big time, like not even close. There's no debate to be had. I don't know why people are acting like that's not happening. It is underperforming internationally. It's overperforming domestically. Let me see where we're at. All right, caught up there. Jade Runner says, we've lost all sense of decency, respect, civility. Let's see. Compassion and empathy for others. And it's all that POS Trump and his scumbag supporters' fault. I know. It's like so weird, dude. Like it's like the Superman 25 fans. They keep talking about how kindness is the new punk rock. And then if you say you don't like it, they say, fuck you, I hope you die. And it's like, okay, that kind of goes against your whole like narrative of like, I really love James Gunn's Superman because it's about kindness. It's about kindness being at the center. And you're like, yeah, I don't like that movie. And you're like, fuck you, I hope you die. You're like, okay. I guess you didn't listen to the message of the movie. And it's all about projection. It's about projection. That's what it's always about. Like, movie's about kindness, and I'm so happy. And you're like, yeah, I didn't like it. And they're like, and then they just cuss you out and they call you names and they hope all of the worst things happen to you. And you're like, what happened to kindness? What happened to kindness is the new punk rock. Tulsi Gabbard announces the release of over 230,000 MLK Jr. assassination files. Tulsi Gabbard is on it right now, man. She is crushing it. Oh, Hunter Biden talked about Elon Musk.
I mean, you sit here and I mean, like, just think about it. You got some motherfucker who's made over, what, $251 billion being a United States citizen that got here and stayed here illegally before he got his citizenship, sitting here lecturing us on who we should allow into the United States of America and giving us a fucking Heil Hitler along the way. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, you sit here and I mean, like, just think about it. You got some motherfucker who's made over, what, $251 billion being a United States citizen that got here and stayed here illegally before he got his citizenship, sitting here lecturing us on who we should allow into the United States of America and giving us a fucking Heil Hitler along the way. Are you fucking kidding me?
This is so great, dude. Okay, is this new? Former FBI director and seashell collector James Comey fumes after Trump Department of Justice fires his daughter. Oh my God, I haven't seen this. Woo! Man, we are cooking today. There is way too much good stuff happening.
This week, I want to offer some thoughts about justice. The Justice Department's ability to protect the American people depends upon a gift that every employee gets when they join the department. It's a gift they may not know they're getting until the first time they stand up and identify themselves as a justice employee and say something, whether that's in a courtroom or at a conference or at a cookout, and they find that total strangers believe what they say next. They're believed because when they speak, they aren't seen as Republicans or Democrats. Instead, they're seen as something separate and apart in American life, a group of people just trying to do the right thing. For years, I've described that gift as a reservoir of trust and credibility. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Instead of fear, let this moment fuel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place, a fire of righteous indignation at abuses of power, of commitment to seek justice for victims, of dedication to truth above all else. It has been an honor to fight for those principles by your side. And she signed it, Maureen. I don't have much to add to that, except to say the reservoir is in grave danger right now. Trump and the hacks who lead the Department of Justice are hammering at the dam day after day, trying to turn it into just another gold leaf covered Trump subsidiary. Our best hope is that good people will stay and do what Maureen asked. Have the courage to do the right thing always. You may get fired for acting that way, but there's honor in that, and nothing but disgrace for those who don't stand up. There are going to be hard weeks in the Trump era, and this was one for my family. But there are plenty of good people still in the department committed to doing things the right way, committed to the rule of law. For them, because of them, keep the faith.
Translation, the walls are closing in on me, and I'm terrified as fuck. And I'm doing everything I can to project so I can get as much sympathy as I possibly can, because my days as a free man are starting to feel like they're numbered. That is what the translation of that video is right there. And as a matter of fact, I just saw this clip right here on the Glenn Beck show. Let's listen to this really quick right here.
Enough here to indict Obama or Brennan or Clapper or any of these people?
Well, based upon what Tulsi Gabbard has said, it sounds like it. Now, remember, there's the issue of presidential immunity for the sitting president of the United States. So any indictment of President Obama would have to go through a presidential immunity analysis to make sure that what he's doing as his core constitutional responsibilities, he's absolutely immune. What he's doing in his official capacity, separate from core constitutional responsibilities, he's presumptively immune. But here's the problem. What President Obama did after he left office, when he continued to conspire after he left office, it's an ongoing conspiracy. If he continued to cover it up, if he continued to conspire, he cannot claim presidential immunity.
So, Mike, there are people that say, in fact, the New York Times said, this is not a story because what the president was talking about was digital conspiracy to hack into the voting records, not a propaganda war. And that's what he had changed. Instead of focusing on the digital, he instead went to a propaganda war. And that makes all of this nonsense.
No, the Democrats' argument is nonsense. They went after President Trump for the non-crime of objecting.
I will repeat what I've said many times. All of this talk about indicting Obama and arrests, and this is, all how big of a deal this is. This is setting a very, very high expectation upon the base. And if something doesn't happen, you're going to create a lot of anger and frustration at the language that we're hearing consistently across the board. And if nothing actually happens, which I personally, I don't want to sit here and say outright that there's zero chance that Obama gets arrested, but I'm very close to zero because I just don't see a possible way where that happens. But we've seen, we've seen Trump do things that are completely out of the ordinary for a long time. So I don't know. If I was a betting man, I would not bet on President Obama getting arrested.
Into a presidential election, which is allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887 and the First Amendment. We don't see Democrats objecting to Republican presidential wins in 1968, 2000, 2004, and 2016. Al Gore, John Kerry, and Hillary Clinton aren't in prison for objecting, right? And so they went after Trump for the non-crime of objecting to a presidential election. What they did was a real crime. They politicized and weaponized intel agencies and law enforcement to take out a presidential candidate, to take out the president of the United States, to take out a former president of the United States. They lied to a FISA court. They continue to lie to Congress as late as 2002 in congressional testimony when there was allegations of perjury to cover up this ongoing criminal conspiracy. They continue to lie to this day. So these are real crimes. I can't think of a bigger scandal in American history than politicizing and weaponizing a political party, including their leader in the White House,
Well, I would agree with that. I can think of one that's pretty close. Mr. Mike Davis, whoever you are, I can think of one. And maybe it's because we haven't talked about it in a long time. But there's this guy named Epstein. He's got a lot of ties to a lot of politicians. He's got a lot of ties to a lot of business leaders, world leaders. Just saying, that one might be close. But I know we haven't talked about it in a long time, so it might not be on your radar.
Politicizing and weaponizing intel agencies and law enforcement to take out a political opponent and a sitting president and a former president. That's what you do in third world Marxist hellholes.
Address critics of people who say this is just political retribution. This is just a banana republic type stuff. You're just going after Donald Trump's enemies.
We are the Trump 47 Justice Department should and must bring accountability, because this is republic ending stuff by what Obama and Biden and Hillary and Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Rice and so many others did here. When you politicize and weaponize law enforcement and intel to go after political enemies, you can't get worse than that. Those are Soviet style tactics.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't really know who this guy is, but I putting this into perspective, I just don't know, man. Oh my God. What the hell? Tree Bear. I just saw a tweet from Tree Bear, but then it disappeared, thankfully. But you guys now have to all see it too, because that's just how it works. You have if I saw the meme, you have to see the meme. Okay. I gotta find it though. You know how Twitter does that thing where okay, Jesus, Tree Bear. Holy crap. Tree Bear. This is disturbing. But Tree Bear, I'm gonna ask you to okay, I'm gonna ask you respectfully. I need this to be Gary. I need that to be Gary. All right. I think Gary needs to be that picture. So it's gotta be Gary. We got Gary as as Hunter Biden. So shit. You guys should follow Tree Bear. He does great work. Let's see. Elwing Secret Garden for 20 says, I was jaded by rhinos in 2016, didn't plan to vote, but then I saw a video by Shapiro claiming Hillary would be better than Trump because Trump would ruin the Republican Party. I was convinced and casted my vote for Trump. Hell yeah. Dude, I remember Shapiro's anti-Trump stuff. Okay, let me be clear. I actually don't remember Shapiro's anti-Trump stuff in 2016. I remember seeing it after the fact because I don't remember when I became aware of Ben Shapiro. But I remember liking Ben Shapiro when I first saw him. And it was usually like a lot of his debate videos, with like debating stupid college kids and all of that. And you're like, oh man, this guy's awesome. This guy's super, cool. And he's got all these facts and he can debate everybody, yada, yada, yada. And then later on, I actually learned more about Ben Shapiro and the piece of shit that he is. And then I found out all the stuff, the anti-Trump stuff that he did with the never Trumper and Trump is a racist and a sexist and a misogynist and he's never going to win. And I'll never support any movement that has Donald Trump involved, all of that. Yeah, Ben Shapiro is the worst. Really is. We got that one. Michael Taylor says, could you imagine the world we would be living in if Trump lost the election? Scary, very scary. Jim says, Hunter has such a soy boy voice for a guy almost 60. Cicero says, weak men have FA and now have FO. It's a tough time for them. It's a tough time indeed for them. Okay, well, we're going to call it there, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a good stream. And I'll probably do another one a little bit later tonight So I wasn't going to, but I'm definitely going to probably, because there's way too much news, and I'm sure a lot more is going to break between now and a little bit later. So I will do another CobraCast a little bit later today. So we'll have dual CobraCast. Jessica, I see you, Jessica. By the way, Jessica, hang on, let me find it. Jessica, she got her CobraCast shirt in. Look at this. Let me find it. Look at Jessica with the CobraCast shirt. Boom. Look at there. Jessica Lindstrom with the CobraCast shirt. So people are starting to get their CobraCast shirts in. Happy to see that. So hail to you. I'm excited for it. And yeah, I still haven't gotten mine, but it's on the way. So I'll get it at some point. So we'll see. But all right. So thank you guys so very much. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you all a little bit later tonight. So I will leave you all with Sabaton, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.